Hi there. Real quick before we jump into the episode. If you enjoy this episode, or any of the other episodes, be sure to give us a follow or subscribe. It would also be great if you shared it with a friend, or better yet, left a review so others can know how awesome it is. Thanks so much. And now, the episode.
Hey there, Press Starters, and welcome to the Press Start Leadership Podcast, the podcast about game-changing leadership, teaching you how to get the most out of your product and development team and become the leader you were meant to be. Leadership coaching and training for the international game industry professional. Now, let me introduce you to your host, the man, the myth, the legend, Christopher Mifsud.
Hey there, Press Starters, and welcome back to another awesome edition of the Press Start Leadership Podcast. On this week's episode, we're discussing navigating feedback in game development, essential strategies for effective leadership, implementing robust feedback systems to foster innovation and team cohesion in the video game industry. In the rapidly evolving video game industry, feedback is a pivotal element that can propel a project forward or stall it indefinitely. For leaders, knowing when to take feedback and when to set it aside is not just a skill, it's an art form. This comprehensive guide delves into the nuances of handling feedback effectively, distinguishing between constructive insights and unhelpful criticism, and nurturing a culture that values meaningful dialogue. Here we explore actionable strategies to manage feedback in a way that aligns with leadership goals and drives game development success. Understanding the impact of feedback. Feedback in the video game industry can come from many sources: team members, peers, playtesters, and the gaming community at large. Each piece of feedback carries potential insights, but not all are equally valuable or applicable. Leaders must develop the acumen to filter and prioritize feedback to enhance their decision-making processes. Actionable steps. Categorize feedback. Upon receiving feedback, categorize it into constructive feedback, criticism, or unsolicited advice. This initial sorting can help in deciding what comments require deeper analysis. Immediate reflection. When feedback is received, especially if it's critical, take a moment to reflect on it before responding. This prevents knee-jerk defensive reactions and allows for a more considered approach. When to take feedback. Feedback, when used correctly, can be a powerful tool for growth. It can highlight unseen issues, offer new perspectives, and reinforce successful strategies. And here's some actionable steps. Reflect and analyze. Allow at least 24 hours to pass when you receive feedback that doesn't immediately resonate. Use this time to see if any part of the feedback can be integrated or if it reveals something previously overlooked. Seek clarification. If feedback is unclear or seems misaligned with project goals, seek further clarification from the giver. This can uncover the root of their concerns and provide clear direction on any actionable insights. Evaluate the source. Consider the expertise and intentions of the feedback giver. Feedback from seasoned developers, industry peers, or targeted user groups often holds more weight than unsolicited advice from less informed sources. When not to take feedback. Knowing when to disregard feedback can be as crucial as knowing when to heed it. Not all feedback is created equal, and some can detract from a project's vision and goals if not properly managed. Some actionable steps. Align with vision. Disregard feedback that significantly deviates from the project's core vision and established goals. If the feedback would lead the project astray, it's prudent to set it aside. Assess relevance. Filter out feedback that does not apply to the specific context or stage of the game development. This includes outdated advice or suggestions that do not align with the technological or creative direction of the project. Consider constructiveness. Ignore feedback that is purely critical without offering any constructive solutions or insights. Focus instead on feedback that aids in building and improving the game. Nurturing constructive feedback. Building a culture that promotes valuable constructive feedback is essential for continuous improvement and innovation within a game development team. Some actionable steps. Education on feedback. Train your team on how to give and receive feedback effectively. Emphasize the importance of being specific, objective, and respectful. Create safe spaces. Foster an environment where team members feel safe to express their opinions and concerns without fear of dismissal or retribution. This encourages openness and continual improvement. Lead by example. Demonstrate how to handle feedback gracefully. When leaders openly accept and act on feedback, it sets a positive precedent for the whole team. The role of feedback in leadership development. For leaders, feedback is not just about improving project outcomes, it's also a tool for personal and professional growth. Actionable steps. Self-assessment. Regularly assess your own leadership performance and seek feedback from trusted mentors or peers. Use this feedback to refine your leadership style and strategies. Mentorship programs. Participate in or create mentorship programs where you can both provide and receive feedback from other leaders within or outside of the industry. This can provide new insights and help you avoid common leadership pitfalls. Continuous learning. Stay engaged with industry trends and leadership theories. Attend workshops, seminars, and courses that challenge your thinking and provide new frameworks for managing teams and projects effectively. Formalizing the feedback process. To make feedback a cornerstone of your studio's operations, it's essential to formalize the feedback process. This helps in maintaining consistency and ensures that every piece of feedback is given due consideration. And here are some actionable steps to do so. Implement structured feedback systems. Establish regular intervals for feedback sessions that involve all team members. This could be in the form of weekly reviews, post-mortem project analysis, or periodic one-on-ones. Feedback integration in project cycles. Embed feedback loops at key stages of your game development cycle. Ensure that there are predefined points where feedback is expected, reviewed, and acted upon. Documentation and tracking. Keep a record of all feedback and the actions taken as a result. This not only helps in tracking progress, but also in identifying patterns that could indicate large systemic issues or opportunities. Enhancing feedback quality. The quality of feedback can significantly impact its effectiveness. Encouraging detailed, actionable, and constructive feedback helps prevent misunderstandings and focuses efforts on continuous improvement. Some actionable steps for this. Feedback training workshops. Conduct workshops to teach team members how to give and receive feedback effectively. Focus on methods that encourage constructive criticism and include practical exercises. Use of feedback tools. Leverage tools and software that facilitate effective feedback. Platforms like Office Vibe or 15.5 can be used to gather anonymous feedback and gauge team morale. Feedback advocates. Appoint feedback advocates within each team who are trained in best practices and feedback management. They can guide their colleagues in both giving and receiving feedback. Building a feedback responsive culture. The ultimate goal of emphasizing feedback is to nurture a culture that not only accepts feedback, but actively seeks it as a tool for improvement and innovation. And here's some actionable steps. Cultural reinforcement. Regularly communicate the importance of feedback to the studio's mission and values. Share success stories where feedback led to significant improvements. Reward and recognition system. Establish reward systems that acknowledge individuals and teams who effectively use feedback to make significant contributions to projects. Promote openness and transparency. Lead by example by being open to receiving feedback and acting on it publicly. This openness from leadership can significantly influence the studio's overall culture. Dealing with feedback saturation. While promoting a feedback-rich environment, there's also a risk of feedback saturation, where the volume of feedback can become overwhelming and counterproductive. Some actionable steps for this. Prioritize feedback. Develop criteria to prioritize feedback based on its potential impact on project outcomes and business goals. This helps in managing the flow of feedback and ensures focus on critical areas. Feedback filters. Designate team leads or managers as feedback filters who can assess and channel feedback effectively, ensuring that only pertinent and constructive feedback reaches decision makers. Balance feedback schedules. Avoid constant feedback loops that can lead to fatigue. Instead, schedule feedback at meaningful intervals to allow time for implementation and assessment of changes. Continual improvement through feedback. To maintain competitiveness in the dynamic video game industry, studios must continually evolve and adapt. Feedback is crucial in this process, providing insights needed to refine strategies and operations continually. And here's some actionable steps. Regular feedback reviews. Schedule quarterly or biannual reviews to assess how feedback is being used within the organization and its impact on game development processes. Incorporate external feedback. Regularly include feedback from external sources such as user testing groups, industry peers, and consumer data to provide additional perspectives and validation. Adaptive feedback strategies. Remain adaptive in your feedback strategies. As a team and projects evolve, so should your approach to managing and integrating feedback. Some final thoughts. Effective feedback management is not just about dealing with criticism. It's about fostering a proactive, informed, and cohesive development environment where every team member is empowered to contribute to the studio's success. By institutionalizing a robust feedback system, enhancing the quality and responsiveness of feedback, and continuously adapting feedback practices, leaders in the video game industry can drive their teams to not just adapt to change, but to thrive on it. This holistic approach ensures that your studio remains at the cutting edge, ready to tackle new challenges and seize opportunities in the ever-evolving landscape of video gaming. All right, and that's this week's episode of the Press Start Leadership Podcast. Thanks for listening, and as always, thanks for being awesome. Oh, hi. And the episode's over, but thanks for sticking around till the end. Be sure to check out more episodes in the playlist and new episodes every week on Monday. Follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Don't forget to leave a review. Thanks again for being awesome.